So I'm not sure. Good morning to you. So I'm not sure if you've heard, but once 2027 gets here, if it ever does, I mean, I don't know. A lot could happen from now till then. Who knows what lies ahead in the future? It's pretty crazy out there. But if it does, when that time gets here, not sure if you've heard, but there is something that's coming with it that sounds like it's going to affect us all. So I thought, I don't know, maybe it's crazy, but we'd talk about it because that's what we better start doing. While you still have that voice, while you still have that right, I would suggest you start using it to speak up about things such as this because it is absolutely ridiculous. But with 2027 comes a new mandate that's coming down. Imagine that from the top being pushed down to suppress the peasants. And that mandate happens to do with the vehicle that you drive. Yeah, see, they think it's a good idea for every manufacturer starting in 2027 with every vehicle that is mass produced to have a little chip in it. And that little chip is going to be called a kill switch. So that, if they deem it necessary, they can shut your vehicle down like that. I don't know about you, but that makes me feel just a little bit uneasy. Yeah, I don't like that. Not at all. And I don't know, maybe if, that governing body that's out there, maybe if they were just a little bit more trustworthy, I would say, okay, maybe. But yeah, in this case, no, not at all. Not at all. This is absolutely ridiculous. There are all kinds of implications that come with this. And if you're somebody who's thinking, oh, well, I'll just buy an older vehicle. I'll just get one before that. Yeah, that's going to work for so long. But eventually, I don't know, like your kids and your children's children are going to be affected by this. And there's going to be nowhere to run. All right. So right now you might think you have a loophole. But as I've said in other videos, those loopholes are nothing more than nooses masquerading as loopholes. Okay. And that loophole, where that leads anyway, if you haven't noticed, the ethanol that's in the gas just destroys the engines of these older vehicles. So there's really not going to be many of those left. Because what they do is they make it so expensive and then tell you, oh, that 88 gas, we'll make that cheaper. Use that. Well, we're in this oil crisis right now. Since we're in this conflict and the straight shutdown, we're not affected by it because we have our own resources here. Yet, I don't know, last time I looked, it was like almost twice as much now for a gallon of gas. And so, what they tell you is, oh, we'll just get the cheaper stuff. Yeah. Well, I would highly advise against that. That will wreck your engine quickly. Okay. And any engine that you put it in. So even for, 10, 20, 30, 40 cents more a gallon, whatever it is, I would stay far away from that garbage. And even the next best thing, 87, the unleaded, yeah, it's also garbage. But unfortunately, see, they've made it so that that's what most people use because you can't afford premium. You can't afford plus, right? Again, we're just all peasants out here trying to survive, right? Yeah. And so your pistons and rings, they just get destroyed. All the wearable items inside your engine, yeah, that wreaks havoc on them. And so eventually, yeah, there isn't going to be any more pre-27 cars. And everybody's going to be forced into this. And then we have entered into this area of AI when it comes to vehicle ownership now, because if you haven't looked around and noticed, that's where you're heading, whether you want to go there or not. I mean, even my damn microwave has Wi-Fi associated with it now. The refrigerator, the microwave, the stove, it's all Wi-Fi. The damn coffee pot is Wi-Fi. Yeah. It's a smart world that we're heading into. Yeah, I beg to differ. I think it's stupid. Anyway, yeah, I mean, that's what's up here. I figured I'd just throw it out there in case you haven't heard about it yet, because it's coming down the pipe. And, it's funny because the organization that's behind it is this Moms Against Drunk Drivers. Boy, it seems like there's an awful lot of power in that organization to be able to do something so massive in scale as is to affect everybody's vehicle and the production of every vehicle. I mean, boy, how'd they get so much power? Yeah, see, I think that there's always a front man, right? There's always a front. There's something that's lurking under the surface that you don't see that's behind that type of ridiculous nonsense. Okay? There is an evil there. Peek under the cover and see it. They call it the elite. I call it the scum of the earth. Call it what you want. But there is something there. There is a force there that is pushing us in this direction, into this dystopian future, that I guess was supposed to be the golden age. Yeah. I think this is how these things work, We have this organization that it's a good cause, and so it's for a good cause, and they have good reason. Behind it is the true reason for it. Control. It always has to do with control. And who is it control? Well, the ones at the top pulling the strings, obviously. Yeah, you don't get to see them, but they're there. That's who's behind this. That's who's behind something like this. We're being carried into this future, whether you want to go there or not, people. And while you still have this one right, this ability to speak, I would suggest you start doing it, because I think time is running out for even that. So it's about time to speak up, don't you think? Anyway, yeah, I mean, here, you listen. You listen to it right out of, the horse's mouth here. One of the horse's mouth.
So I want to end with a story that's like not maybe a world historic story, but it's just such a metaphor for everything. And that's legislation that recently passed that allows big companies and the government to spy on you in your car. Well, it was your car. It's now their car, apparently, while you're in it. Will you describe what this is, the technology, the legislation, and your position on it?
So in the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act that was passed under Biden, like tons of money thrown at things that aren't really infrastructure. They also included some new mandates. And one of the mandates that's impractical, Orwellian, and needs to go away is this mandate for every automobile made in 2027. Like, we're just a few months away from this, to be able to shut itself off. Every car has to be able to judge your driving and shut down if it thinks you're impaired. And this isn't like the thing that, if you've been convicted of a DUI that you have to blow into to prove that you're not, inebriated. This will judge your driving. I've been fighting this ever since. I've been fighting this for years. I've fought it in the Transportation Committee, which I serve on. I've cross-examined the NHTSA people who are responsible for this. They will admit to me it can't work. It won't work right. I had a woman who testified that there are about 1 billion car trips a day. If the success rate of this technology is 99.9%, that means there's going to be 1 million cars that won't start on any given day. And I pointed out to her, well, it's not the car not starting, because the technology actually stops you mid-trip. So the car's going to, I guess it's going to pull you over, and
On the highway?
on the highway, you could be a mom with kids because you swerved a deer and then you got in the breakdown lane because an ambulance went by. How does the car know? By the way, it's going to have to know what road you're on. The technology they're proposing will watch your face. It'll look for your gaze. It'll look at your pupils. It'll look at your posture. It'll look where your hands are and judge whether you are competent to drive or not. My question that I've asked over and over, I can't get an answer to, is if the AI in the dashboard and the cameras in your dashboard is the judge, the jury, and the executioner, and you get pulled over on the side of the road and you're a mom with a minivan full of kids, how do you appeal your sentence? Who's going to start the car back up? Do you press a button and plead with another AI?
But a machine is watching you on behalf of your overlords in your own car. If the North Koreans did this, we would say this is like classic Stalinist hellscape, right?
Right. I don't even think the Chinese have proposed this yet. It's ridiculous. And, I wouldn't trust the government with this power.
But why? Who could possibly be for that?
It's a coalition. Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and parents, like, they will bring, if you oppose this Orwellian scenario, they will bring to your office a very sad situation. They'll bring, constituents who've had kids that died at the hands of drunk drivers.
Right.
And it's tough to tell them that this technology isn't going to work. So congressmen won't tell them that. It's tough to tell them there are better ways to stop drunk driving or to prevent this.
We don't even prosecute drunk driving when illegal aliens do it.
Right.
So there is no actual rule against drunk driving anymore in the United States if you are from a preferred ethnic group. So this whole thing is crazy.
That gets to the extra layer of justice or the bifurcation of justice. We've got a system of justice for billionaires. We got a system of justice for illegals.
Yes.
And then we got a system of justice the rest of us are expected to, operate under.
Joe Biden said out loud, it's not a big deal. Illegals get busted for DUI. So what?
When I was a county executive, I saw them come to our jail and say, you got to let this guy go. He's an illegal. There's no way to prosecute him in a regular court system. And that is crazy. But this Orwellian kill switch system, twice I have forced a vote on this on the floor of the House. I forced a debate and a vote. And this is why we lose. The uniparty, I can't get 218 people to take this provision of law out of law.
So there were Republicans who voted for this.
Yeah, 50 in the last cycle. The victory, by the way, and this is for me, and the reason they want me gone is I can't force those 50 Republicans to do the right thing. I can't even compel them. I compelled 170 of them to do the right thing, and there's 50 holdouts. Why do they hate me in the swamp? Why do they want me gone? Part of the coalition is the people who don't want transparency.
Of course.
Because twice I've forced that vote. Twice they've stood there and taken the wrong vote against their constituents, against the Constitution for a dystopian future. And now they're outed. You can go look at that list of 50 Republicans and mourn that your Republican is among them, but then go to the ballot box and vote against them. But you can't do that if I'm not there, because who's going to force that vote to happen?
13 days from today.
13 days from today. I need to raise money to go up against these billionaires, hedge fund managers, gambling magnates that are making money from Chinese gambling and controlling our government. MasseyMoneyBomb.com is where we're raising the money. It's all, the average donation is $94. And we've had tens of thousands of donors. If this is the biggest battle, the biggest electoral battle this year, it's all the marbles. Everybody's pushed all their chips in. The AIPAC has pushed in all their chips. All of the cronies have pushed in their chips. And we're pushing in our chips. I'm doing everything I can for the next 13 days.
So, yeah, that's what's coming. That's what's coming. So get prepared. I don't know. If it was up to me, we'd be going back to horse and buggy, baby. That's what I'm talking about. I want no part of this technocratic security state. Whatever it is, I want no part of it. I want to go back in time. I want nothing to do with that future that lies out ahead. And I feel terrible for everybody who has to live through this nonsense, i.e. our children. Better start speaking up. Anyway, this is Thumper. As always, sorry about your toes if we stepped on them. If you haven't yet, subscribe. We're out.